Hello, everyone. Good morning if you're in Europe. Good afternoon if you're in Asia. Good evening if you're in the Americas. Um, it's nice to see you. My name is Holly, and I am a native English trainer from Idaho here in the United States, where it is 11 p.m. And during this hour, we are going to talk about business phrasal verbs. So we're going to practice the phrasal verbs and try to use them in everyday conversation. So come on in and let's practice English, and maybe you'll get to talk a little bit about your work and what you do, and definitely practice phrasal verbs. Thank you. Hello, Ezekiel. How are you doing? Good
Hello,
morning.
good morning for
Good
me.
morning. Is it
Good
7
evening for
o'clock
you.
or 8 o'clock?
7 o'clock.
7. Okay. All right. Excellent. And
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 for
you are
you?
in Madrid, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
am in Madrid.
Yeah. And what's the weather like right now? Or have you looked outside yet?
Yesterday was very warm for the time of the year,
Uh-huh.
but
Okay.
today is going back to normal, but more
Uh-huh. So
normal.
it's going to get colder than
Yeah,
than it has been.
4 Celsius degree to 13 in
Ah.
the midday. Now
Uh-huh.
4.
Okay.
But yesterday we reached 19.
Wow, that is for January in the summertime.
Yes.
It's
It's
not like in some parts of Spain, it is probably that warm, but Valencia, not Valencia, but Madrid is definitely the colder part, isn't it? It's near the mountains, right?
yes,
Yeah.
it's very strange. I don't
Yeah.
know.
All right. Yeah.
Changing time because
Exactly. Global warming. Let's blame it on global warming. So,
yeah.
yeah,
I'm not sure about
warming.
global warming, but something is happening. That
Yeah.
is true.
Yeah.
That's I don't know. It is related with human behavior, or it's
Mhm.
a natural change in the climate.
Mhm.
But
Yeah. I know for
um,
me for today uh I it's still Sunday here, and we had a high of 3 and a low of -8.
okay,
And
that is
yes,
normal.
well, yeah, it's pretty normal. And yesterday it was a high of 4.4 and a low of 0.8. So,
No,
uh, so yesterday was a lot warmer than today. And I don't tomorrow that Sunday tomorrow the forecast says it's going to be 1 degree high of 1 degree and a low of -8, which means all the snow that we have on the ground will not melt.
yeah.
So where yesterday it was melting. So
So from snow to mud, no muddy or
muddy, yeah. But we have so much snow that
okay.
let me show you. Hi, Christian.
Yeah, good morning, Holly. How are you today?
Very good. How are you doing?
I know it's not morning for you, it's evening, no?
Yeah, it's evening for me, but that's fine. I'm used to working with people around the world. We get in fact, if you listen to the first 2 seconds of this video of this recording, I actually said this. I said, "Good morning if you're in Europe. Good afternoon if you're in Asia. Good evening if you're in the Americas." So, um, but but I had a friend actually come to my house yesterday, and she posted. Let's see if I can get to her Facebook page, and she posted some pictures of the area where I live. showing. See, there's still snow up where I live. Let's see if I can find it. It looks like she's posted a lot of things on Facebook. I don't know. Right here. So these are. See if I can do this with hiding her name. Bear with me a moment. Show you the pictures without showing her name. Yeah. Oops. Okay. Technology. Bear with me a moment. Okay. This is how much snow we still have. Even though yesterday it was melting, it was, this is right next to my house, across the street. So we still have a lot of snow. This is my house where I live. So a lot of snow there. So.
Beautiful but problematic, I think so.
Yeah. I know she didn't take a picture of my car, but my car is right. Oh, this is my car right here, and let's see if she took this right here is right in front of my car. So I have to shovel this in order to drive my car. So I've just decided not to drive it. So I'll just walk everywhere. It's pretty funny. So hello, Nasser. How are you doing? Nasser or Naser? Naser, are you there? We cannot hear you if you are. We hear something, but I think that's Christian I hear. So yeah, cannot hear you for some reason. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and practice business phrasal verbs today. Phrasal verbs are fun to practice, but frustrating, I think, to learn and to use. I was telling a group earlier today that there's two types of vocabulary. There's passive vocabulary, and then there's active vocabulary. And one of the reasons that it's so frustrating for a lot of people as they're learning English to speak is they know a lot of words and so they understand what they're hearing because they have a lot of words in their passive vocabulary, but in their active vocabulary they don't. So the passive is understanding and active is actually using. So today what we're hoping to do is for you guys to move a couple of the phrasal verbs from your passive vocabulary that you've heard before into your active vocabulary. So no, Nazer, we cannot hear you for some reason. You are muted right now, but earlier when you were unmuted, we could not hear you. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. What we're going to do is we're going to read two conversations and talk about the differences. The one will be with phrasal verbs and one will be without. So conversation A. Nazer, can you try to speak again and see if we can hear you? Okay, you unmuted and we cannot hear anything. A lot of times if you leave and come back, we might be able to hear you. Another suggestion is up on the top where you were, the same place where you muted your microphone, there's a settings panel and you might be able to check that to see if that's working there. Okay? All right, so Ezekiel, would you read letter A? And Christian, would you read letter B? And nice to see you again, Ake.
Yes, nice to see you again.
All right. Okay, so Ezekiel A and Christian B.
Patrice mentioned an interesting idea at yesterday's meeting. She said she should reduce our online advertising expenses by creating a company blog on our website.
Really? How would that work?
Well, there are many benefits. People will unexpectedly find our blog article on the internet and we will get more visitors to our website.
I see. And they will learn more about our company and we might get some new clients. What are the other benefits?
Well, our existing client will be able to stay informed about our latest activities and promotion. The blog will be our new customer relations channel.
Great. But who will write the articles?
All our top managers and specialists.
That will consume a lot of their time.
Yeah, it will, but in the end, it will be worth it.
All right, thank you. And do be careful about making sure that you are pronouncing all the words in this, all the sounds. So we have new clients. What are the other benefits? Blog articles, visitors. But so make sure that you're saying the S on all of these. This one was perfect. You didn't read it, yes, Ezekiel, but you did sound how a native speaker sounds. We say yeah a lot, so yeah, it will, but in the end it will be worth. So this is fine the way you said this one, but do be careful to make sure that you're saying S's. So part of the time you guys were saying the S's, and part of the times you were not. So, all right, Nazar, can you speak now? Let's see if we can hear you.
I'm trying. Okay.
Yes, we can hear you. Yay! Success. So where are you from? Where are you from? And first of all, are you Nazar or Nazar?
Nasser.
Nazar. Okay. And where are you from?
I'm from Egypt.
Egypt. All right. Nice to meet you. It looks like you have some beautiful children.
Thank you.
All right.
And, but live in Saudi Arabia.
You live in, okay, you're from Egypt, but you live in Saudi Arabia. Awesome. Yeah. Okay. We've had several people actually in my classes that have that situation. Or the other way around. They're from Saudi Arabia and they live in Egypt. So, awesome. All right. And Ake, welcome back. So what we're going to, first of all, Ezekiel and Christian just read this first conversation. And the second conversation is almost the same conversation, but it's using phrasal verbs. So, Nazar, would you read A, and Ake, would you read B?
Okay. Prax brought up an interesting idea at yesterday's meeting. She said we should cut down on our online advertising expenses by creating a company blog on our website.
Really? How would that work?
Well, there are many benefits. People will come across our blog articles on the internet, and we will get more visitors to our website.
I see. And they will find out more about our company, and we might get some new clients. What are the other benefits?
Well, our existing clients will be able to keep up with our latest activities and promotions. The blog will be our new customer relations channel.
Great, but who will write the articles?
All our top managers and specialists.
That will take up a lot of their time.
Yes, it will. But in the end, it will be worth it.
Thank you. And Ake, just to let you know, we can hear you, but your sound is kind of breaking up. It kind of sounds strange. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, but
all right.
Not loading, so something wrong. Yeah.
Okay, so there might be a problem with your audio as well. Not a problem. We can still understand you. All right. So which conversation sounds more formal and which sounds more natural? Christian, in your opinion, which conversation sounds more formal and which one sounds more natural in your opinion? Conversation A or conversation B?
I think the conversation A is informal conversation.
Informal or formal?
Yeah. Oh, formal. I think
formal. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And which one is more natural to you?
I think it's conversation B.
Okay, conversation B is more natural for you. Excellent. All right. And how about you, for you, Ezekiel? Which one is more formal and which one is more natural?
I think that it's more normal be in English, but for me it's more natural A because all of the verb came from Latin root, so for me it is easier.
Okay.
But
All right.
that is not the point. So
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. I'll ask everybody, and then I'll say how it should be. So, Nazar, how about you? Which one is more formal, and which one is more natural? Conversation A or conversation?
I think conversation A is more formal,
Mm-hmm. And which one
and
is more natural for you?
B is more natural for me.
More natural, okay. And okay, how about you? Which one is more formal, and which one is more natural?
I think without phrasal verb, with phrasal verb is natural, and without it, it's formal.
Okay, yeah, that is actually how it's supposed to be. It is more formal. The one without the phrasal verbs is definitely more formal. It is how we would usually write. As native speakers, the one that's more natural is with the phrasal verbs. However, just like Ezekiel said, he said, for me, the conversation A is more natural because of the verbs. Where the phrasal verbs are more difficult, and that's very, very normal, very, very typical of non-native speakers. And how it probably is a lot of times these verbs are, for many of you, are in your active vocabulary, where the phrasal verbs are more you understand when you listen, and they're more in your passive vocabulary. So what we're going to do today is we're going to practice these phrasal verbs so that they will become even more and more natural to you. All right, so let's go ahead and
Holly,
start.
I have a question, Holly.
Yes.
For the idioms, it's the same. It's more formal now.
Idioms. I actually wrote a paper about idioms, and I'd written a paper about this when I was in graduate school, and I firmly believe that idioms, as far as idioms are informal, and as native speakers, we do not even realize that we are using idioms until somebody asks us. What did you mean by that? Okay, so we don't know that. So for us, it's informal, but it's natural. But I firmly believe this is something I wrote in a paper when I was in graduate school, and that when non-native speakers use idioms, it does not sound natural if you memorize the idiom. If it comes out of your mouth because it's the only thing you can think of, that's when you use it. So what you learn, the reason you learn idioms and the reason I teach them is so that it will get into your passive vocabulary, and when you're talking to a native speaker or a more fluent speaker and they are using idioms, that you understand, right? But I have heard in my experience working with non-native speakers learning an idiom and immediately try to use it, and because they have memorized the idiom, it doesn't come out fluent, and it doesn't come out. It kind of sounds. It doesn't sound natural. And so with idioms and also phrasal verbs, until it gets in your active vocabulary, instead of a lot of words when we're learning a language, we can just memorize and we can start using it. But with phrasal verbs, not phrasal verbs, but with idioms, it really needs to come out naturally. So if somebody asks you a question, and maybe they say, how was the class? And the only thing you can think of is, can't complain. That's an idiom. It means I have no complaints. It was good. I'm happy. I was satisfied. But you just say, and that's the only thing you can think of was that idiom. That's when you use it. But if it comes out naturally. But do not memorize the idioms and then repeat them, because that's where it starts to sound really strange to a non-native speaker. So anyway, let's go on. Hello, Sam. Nice to see you again.
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Hey.
And nice to see you. Awesome. Nice to see you. And we have some idioms that we are going to practice during this, not idioms, I'm sorry, phrasal verbs we're going to practice during this class. So what we're going to do is now complete the questions below with the phrasal verbs from conversation B in the correct form. And then we're going to answer the questions. So we have, let's look at these phrasal verbs. We have brought up, cut down on, come across, find out. I'm going to write them actually in capital letters. Brought up, cut down on, come across, find out, keep up with, and take up. We are going to put these phrasal verbs in the next exercise. Let's go ahead and practice these. Okay, can you do number 1? And I have the words in the chat if you need them.
Yes. How do you keep up with the latest news in your industry?
All right. So how about you, Ake? How do you keep up with the latest news in your industry?
Reading journals.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you read journals. Do you read online journals, or do you actually get the paper journals?
Nowadays, online journals much more than papers because it's easy to access.
Okay. All right. And how about you, Christian? How do you keep up with the latest news in your industry?
The latest news industry with a computer, with a screen, no, paper, journal paper, no?
Journals. The computer.
Yes, a newspaper, maybe newspaper.
Mm-hmm. Newspapers.
We
okay.
keep up the latest news. Newspaper, you know, inside of the company, sometimes you have like a gazette. We say gazette.
Or newsletter. A
Newsletter
gazette or newsletter. I think. Yeah, company newsletter.
We can say in English gazette, yeah.
You can. Usually, a gazette is the actual name of the newsletter. It's not really.
Okay.
So they would say, oh, it's the Practice Gazette or the New York Gazette. You know. Okay. All right. And Ezekiel, how about you? How do you keep up with the latest news in your industry?
I use Twitter a lot for this. Because a lot of people are posting about the news in my industry. I use online newsletter, online journals too.
Okay. All right. And Nazir, how about you? How do you keep up with the latest news in your industry?
Okay, via social media like Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, as well as some specialist blog about my industry.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And Sam, how do you keep up with the latest news in your industry?
Latest news where I'm working.
Yeah. Like, how do you keep, like, you're teaching agriculture, right? Agricultural sciences. How do you keep up with what is going on in that area?
Okay. Yes, we have every 6 month journal in my own how we say publish in my university as well. So, and mostly we have every month have other magazine and it's concerned with that. And the internet, we have a facility, and we have a lot of news, uh, especially the media we have, and I get this information from the media, internet, and newspaper as well.
All right, thank you very much. And I muted so that it would be easier to hear you, and that really did work. So awesome. All right, and for me, like many of you, there's a lot of in my industry, of course, it's teaching English, and there's a lot of people who tweet. So I used to always keep up with the industry through Twitter, and I just don't have a lot of time now, and so. So for me, I don't do Twitter as much as I do LinkedIn. So I watch and see articles on LinkedIn. So, excuse me. Hello, V. Nice to see you again.
Hi, sorry I'm late.
Not a problem.
Was having some lunch. So.
Yeah, it's important to do that. So V, how do you keep up with the latest news in your industry? We're gonna have to put another word here.
Yeah, keep up. Like you, I also get some news from LinkedIn, but not frequently because I'm rarely on that. Just in case there's some invitations, so I just enter to check some emails, some notice, and I also have some information on Twitter, but I just follow some news channels. There are no friends of mine on that, so just no news from my friends around.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, V. Let's go on to number 2. Christian, can you do number 2? Keep in mind the phrasal verbs are on the chat, on either one of the chats that you can fill this in with.
Yeah. How do customers find out about your company?
Okay. How do customers find out about your company? So I'm interested in 2 things. First of all, how do customers find out about your company, and how did you find out about Verbling? So, Christian, can you answer the first one? And how do customers find out about your company?
Yes. How the customer find out of the company is the customer find out have a very good sensation with the company and very happy with the company, and I think the company is very reliable. You know, and I'm happy to continue with that. You know, and yes, because the customer can see success and can see the reliable of the company, yes, and the quality. You know?
Okay, so they find out about your company through the reputation of the company.
Yeah.
Okay.
The reputation and also, yeah.
Yeah, go on.
No, it's okay.
Oh, I was going to say, and how did you find out? I'm interested in this question. How did you find out about Verbling?
Yes, yes. For me, Verbling, it was very good company because I think the quality of the teacher was very good, and the group class also is also very good, and it's very interesting because we have, from a point of view of customer, we have a different subject in a different group class, and we can have a different vocabulary, you know, and different view of the English, you know. For example, with the class, sometimes it's business, sometimes it's yesterday it was with the surgery, and sometimes it's medicine, the food. No, it's very important for the customer to have this satisfaction to understand, to have a different melting pot, of different subjects, about in English. You can practice your English in different way, and I think it's yes, and I like this point of view of Verbling,
Yeah.
From a
So
point of view of customer, it's very good company.
yeah. So how did you find out? Did you Google it, or did you find the group classes, or did somebody tell you about it?
Yes, yes, I have my colleague,
Okay.
my colleague, yeah,
Okay. So
my
you
colleague told me, yeah.
okay. So you learned about verbling from a colleague. Awesome. All right. Thank you. Ake, how do customers find? Well, first of all, how did you find out about verbling?
Yeah, I found actually same thing happened to me twice.
Uh-huh.
The web school or English
Uh-huh.
school, was closed. Before closing, one student asked teachers, "Is there the site similar service offers?" So teacher said bubbling. So I check
Uh-huh.
out the site and I
Uh-huh.
joined.
Ah, okay. All right. So you also heard about it from a teacher. Awesome.
Yeah.
You were with Kalingo, right?
All
So
right. Yeah.
yeah, you're one of the first people that came, I think. So excellent. V, how do you find out about how did you find out about verbling?
Yeah, some months ago I was on another website in Vietnam where I
Uh-huh.
didn't feel satisfied with its service, so I googled and they listed some websites, so I tried some of them, but
Mm-hmm.
just until verbally I've been stick to that until now.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. And Sam, I guess I'm more interested in how did you find out about verbling instead of the other one. So Sam, how did you find out about verbling?
Yes, I found out through um, YouTube,
Uh-huh.
and I was searching. Yes,
Mm-hmm. All right.
yes,
And
and I was searching at that time. So some of verbling teachers were teaching,
uh-huh.
and I really appreciate that because the she was also a teacher, and she did a very good work, and especially the
Uh-huh.
pronunciation. So
Perfect.
that's really inspired me. Yes.
Uh-huh. Excellent. All right, thank you. And Nazar, how did you find out about verbling?
Yes, I was searching the internet to find a solution for me because
Uh-huh.
learning in Saudi Arabia is more expensive. Uh,
Mm.
I I I, I search for face-to-face courses in Riyadh,
Mm-hmm.
but it will cost me more. And because I have three children in the school, and it is a budget for me.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. All
That's
right.
why I searched the internet to find a solution, maybe cheaper than the face-to-face courses in Saudi Arabia.
Mm-hmm.
I still searching for. I was searching for 2 months to find verbally.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow. And then you
Yeah,
found it.
yeah.
Wow. All
I
right. Well,
tried. I tried other websites, but
uh-huh.
I dislike them.
Uh-huh.
Once I find verbling and find out the system,
Uh-huh.
I like it more and more.
Excellent. Awesome. All right. And Ezekiel, how about you? How did you, as a customer of Verbling, find out about Verbling?
I was looking for a online service for talking to teacher in English.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I found out another company is Italki, but in the
Mm-hmm.
end they don't allow payment through PayPal.
Uh-huh.
So one day um, watching YouTube videos,
Mm-hmm.
online advertisement about Berlin come up,
Mm-hmm.
and I say I'm going to try this, and they allow PayPal payments, so I'm very
Awesome.
happy for
That's great.
it. Yeah,
That's great. I'm the same way as a consumer. I a lot of times will choose places and services that take PayPal. So,
yeah,
because it's so much easier. All
yeah.
right, let's go to number 3. Ezekiel, can you choose the phrasal verb for number 3?
Have you ever come across something you thought you had lost?
Yes. Have you ever come across something you thought you had lost? For example, I think. Oh, when was it? It seems like every winter. I don't know how this happens, but every winter I put my hand in a pocket of a coat, and I find a money. Whether it's a $20 bill, I've found $20 bills or 20 euros when I was in Finland, or I find change or something. So I always come across money when I'm and it's always when I need it too, in clothing and stuff, usually winter clothes. So how about you? Have you ever come across something you had lost?
I came across money too, a
Uh-huh.
bill in a coat, but I
Oh,
don't
okay.
remember other thing.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. Sometimes I lose my glasses, my
Uh-huh.
spectacles,
Uh-huh.
in
Spectacles,
my house,
glasses.
and I don't know where I have, and I looking for them, and I give up. But in the end, when I not looking, I found.
That's
I
exactly
come
what come
across.
across is. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. All right. Nazar, how about you? Have you ever come across something you thought you had lost?
Yes, of course. My flash memory, I lost it usually in my house,
Oh.
my
Uh-huh.
home.
Uh-huh.
Yes, and when I search for it, I can't find it.
Uh-huh.
But
And
yes, but
go on. Mhm.
sometimes I have come across it, right?
Uh-huh. And then I came across it.
Yes.
Hmm. And you were like, "Oh, thank God I found it." So excellent. All right. And Sam, how about you? Have you ever come across something you thought you had lost?
Yes, I had lost my glasses 2 months ago. That was my reading glasses, and unfortunately, someone took, and I thought that I I lost somewhere else. But after that, and so I was. I also have been come across my especially my clothes. So when I found when I come across my clothes, so that is a really very um, give me pleasure that. So yes, but I never come across money.
Oh, well, who knows? Maybe you will. It's funny because I think I sometimes I actually do it on purpose. I'll say I'll leave it in a book or I'll leave it in a coat, and then I say it's when I have some money, when I have extra money, and then I think, oh, I'll find it. I'll come across it when I need it. So, V, how about you? Have you ever come across something you thought you had lost?
Yeah, I'm opposite to Sam. I usually come across my money
Yeah, do
because
you?
yeah, usually when I put some change in my coat or in my pockets
Uh-huh.
of my jeans, and when they're dirty, I put it in the washing machine. So
Uh-huh.
when I get it back and I come across some money, even
Okay,
though
come
it's
across.
just small, yeah, but I feel
Uh-huh.
really, really flat.
Yeah. And it's always really nice to see it. It's like, oh, and it's clean too. So,
Yeah.
all right. All right, thank you. Okay, how about you? Have you ever come across something you thought you had lost?
Yes, I lost my glasses, one of my
Uh-huh.
glasses, and right after I returned from America, and I thought I left that in America. So how can I say I was abandoned,
Oh,
the searching for that. But several years later, I came across that somewhere. I forgot, but yeah, I forgot. I came across again.
you came across it again and you're like, oh, wow, that would
Yes.
have been nice to have a couple years ago.
Yes.
So, yeah. All right, thank you. And Christian, how about you? Have you ever come across something you thought you had lost?
Yes, something bizarre, last Saturday, yes, when I went to the airport to pick up my daughter, and I lost the ticket of the parking, and I searched a lot of time, and I came across, I searched 2 hours, and I came across, a pocket of my coat, because
Oh,
I don't
no.
want, yeah, and yeah, sometimes you had this in the morning, and I came across, the ticket in my coat. After 2 hours
Oh, wow. And was it 2 hours in the airport or was it?
in the
Um,
airport, yeah, to search the tickets.
oh, wow. How
Yeah.
funny. All right.
Sometimes when you have a lot of paper in your pocket, and
Uh-huh.
you know, yeah.
Yeah, I totally understand. I actually did something this fall. I lost my glasses, and I can't drive without my glasses. And I searched my house high and low. And so finally, I called my family and I said, I can't use my car. I need to go, excuse me, and get new glasses because I cannot find these. I've lost them. They're nowhere to be found. So they came up and they picked me up, and I live, excuse me, I live up in the mountains, and so they came up to the mountain, got me, drove me down, and in the process of doing that, my sister actually found a very old pair of glasses, not the pair that I lost, that I could have driven with. And then after I got home with my new glasses, I found the set that I had been lost, and it was actually on the floor next to a wall behind a couch. It's like, really? So, but
Oh,
anyway, I did find it, but I ended up spending a week at a friend's house because had to get my eyes tested and so forth, and that was an interesting week. So, all right, let's go on to the next one. Nazar, can you do number 4?
Which tasks take up a lot of time in your work?
All right. So, in your work, Nazar, which tasks take up a lot of your time?
Okay, those tasks that related to planning. I work in project management,
Mm-hmm.
and I manage a technical team in e-learning projects.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay,
And that,
okay.
yeah, and that takes up all your time. A lot of your time is the planning. All right. Thank you. Sam, how about you? Which tasks take up a lot of your time in your work?
Mostly, uh, uh, it's not. I think I'll take up a lot of time in my work because work is different.
Mm-hmm.
As a teacher, or you can say that. So I don't think so that take up a lot of time. But yes, when I prepare my presentation, so I can say that it takes a lot of time, especially if the lecture is new
Mm-hmm.
or and I need if I need more information, and I'm not very clear about that, and something is very new, so it take up a lot of time.
Oh, it takes up a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you. And V, how about you? Which tasks take up a lot of time in your work?
Yeah, in my previous work, I think it took me up the most on the preparation before those meetings because the
Mm-hmm.
content was important, so I didn't want to make any mistake. And
Mm-hmm.
especially those editing the content, and for those Excel files, it took me a lot of time. Sometimes it frustrated me so much.
Mm-hmm. All right,
Yeah.
thank you. And okay, which tasks take up a lot of time in your work?
Maybe reading and writing papers. That takes a
Okay.
long time.
Yeah, that definitely does. All right, thank you. Christian, how about you? Which tasks take up a lot of time in your work?
I think it's to establish the planning also, to establish the planning for the colleagues and also
Mm-hmm.
to find the correct task
Mm-hmm.
for the colleague. The timing, yes, also planning, yeah.
All right, thank you. And Ezekiel, how about you? Which tasks take up a lot of time in your work?
They love to have meetings with a lot of people without a specific agenda, so it's
Mm-hmm.
stupid, wastes time in the end.
Uh-huh.
I hate that.
Okay. All right. And so meetings take a lot of time in
Yeah.
your work. I've heard that. In fact, there's a class I taught here on verbling, and I've only been able to teach it once because I showed a TED talk, and because this is a live Google a Google Hangout live, recording. I got messages from Google and from YouTube saying that this was a video I shouldn't be showing. So I haven't only been able. I can only do that in private lessons. But it's a lesson. It's a TED Talk lesson about meetings and how a lot of the times meetings are not very fruitful. So
Yeah.
it's a really good lesson. So for me, this is what takes a lot of time in my work. Getting this done. It usually takes depends on how many hours of work I'm teaching that week, but and I have a system that I do, and it's very easy and so forth because of the system that I do, but it takes time to actually come up with this, and also there's a picture usually. I thought I chose. Yeah, I guess when you type, isn't there a picture? Yeah, there's a picture, and choosing the picture and stuff like that, that takes time. Other than that, the only other part of my job is teaching, so and that's fun. So I don't write reports, and I don't do any grading or anything. So that's if I were a proper teacher, I would the time it would be the other part of um, grading and and giving feedback to students and stuff like that. So, all right, number 5. Let's go to Sam. Sam, can you put the phrasal verb in number 5? And there's a list of phrasal verbs on the chats that you might see.
Okay. Okay. How does your company cut down expenses?
Yes. How does your company cut down on expenses? All right. So, Sam, how you work for a university? So, how does your university usually cut down on expenses when it needs to?
Through taxes, and yes, we especially it's a very not a huge amount, but we paid taxes. And when we compare the taxes as compared to the other company or other job is very, very expensive. So yes, and even though sometimes our taxes is similar someone's salary, they are equal to our Yes. So, and not only one, but two or three taxes. So I think through this, my university cut down the expenses.
Okay, so they cut down on expenses by taxing
Taxes,
or
taxes,
by
tax.
taxing the employees?
Yes.
Okay, by through
Tax.
tax. Okay, yeah.
How we can, yes, through tax. Yeah.
Basically, what you would say is they would cut down the expenses by taxing the employees more, so charging more taxes or charging
Yeah,
more
exactly right.
taxes.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly right.
all right. And V, how about you and your experience with different companies? How does your company cut down on expenses?
Mm, yeah, because I usually work for projects, so
Hmm.
it depends on the stages of projects. Normally, in the early and the middle stages, they need more people, then they hire more people. But to the end of the project, um, there are less workloads, so they cut
Hmm.
down on expenses by firing
Do they
unnecessary labor.
do they fire or do they lay them off?
They fire because projects the laborers are not permanent. They're just
Hmm.
temporary.
Okay,
Yeah.
so but to fire means the person that they've chosen has not done a good job.
Oh, as I mean, they terminate their contract.
Okay, so they lay them off.
They lay
So
them off. Uh huh.
yeah, so the difference between to fire and to lay off.
Uh huh.
To lay off means that there's no work for you. I'm sorry, there's no work for you. We have nothing for you. We cannot pay you.
Uh huh.
You have to go. To fire means you have done such a terrible job, or your work performance is bad. You're coming in late. You're hitting the boss. Whatever the person does. We cannot keep you here.
Uh huh.
Okay. So that's
So
the
they,
difference between those.
yeah, they
Yeah. So
lay them off.
yeah. So what I like to say this is to lay off is it's usually we say that it's the employer's fault. Okay. And where to fire, it's the employee's fault. That's how I like to explain it. All right, so next person. Okay, in some of the companies that you have worked in, how does your company cut down on expenses?
Before that, I want to ask I
Uh-huh.
thought layoff is a temporary firing, but it's not.
No, well, that gets complicated. Okay, so in British English, they have two terms. Okay,
Mhm.
there's two terms. They have to lay off and then to make redundant. Okay, and in American English, what it is to lay off is to temporarily lay off,
Mm,
and in British English, to make redundant is to permanently lay off. So if a American says I have been laid off, the person will say, "Oh, is it temporary or is it permanent?" Okay, or they'll
yes.
say, "I have been temporarily laid off." Now, if a British person says I've been laid off, the response is, "Oh, for how long?"
Mhm. I see.
Do you see the difference?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and I was just, of course, thinking only in American English. So,
Okay.
okay, good question.
Sorry, Holly.
Yes?
I understood that layoff is employee's fault.
It's employers.
You said that when the employee have no work, have no job, right?
Yeah, you're correct. But it's employee. The reason is because there's no work and no money. Okay? But to fire, and in British English, they use the word to sack. In British English, those words are if the employee is the bad thing. So the employer is the company, and the employee is the worker. Okay, so if the worker has had poor, very, very bad or poor performance, they could get fired or sacked. Sacked is
Okay.
British English, fired is American.
Okay.
But if the if the company itself or the employer does not have work, they lost a contract, or it's many times, say for example, in some climates, you have seasonal workers. So they work in the summer or they work in the winter, but they don't work the whole year. So they might get laid off for part of the year.
Okay, thank you.
So, and Sam, did you hear the difference? An employer is the company, an employee is the worker.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Mhm.
All right. So, Christian, in some of your companies. Oh, actually, Ake, did you answer this question?
Not yet. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. How to reduce the cost? Maybe they might. Maybe they definitely cut the budget of program. I mean research.
Yes, definitely. That's definitely one. All right, thank you, Christian. How about in some of the companies you've worked in? How do they cut down on expenses?
Okay, I had two projects, to reduce the expenses, in my company, and
did you?
with two areas. The first one is with expenditure. We try the office is trying to cut down electricity, and the second one is with the consumption. Because the user use a lot of paper, all the time in the printing, and we haven't networked a computer to cut down on paperwork. And it was yes, yeah. And after these two efforts, we've found economy, and yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you. And Ezekiel, how about your company, the different companies you've worked in? How has the companies cut down on expenses?
Nowadays, they are when outsourcing projects comes to an end, instead of automatically renew it, they stop it, and we are waiting for 3 or 4 months in paperwork to renew it. So these 3 or 4 months we have not to pay for the project, but people inside the company have to deal with this problem. But in the end, they have cut down expenses.
All right, thank you. And Nasser, how about in your job or the different companies you've worked at? How have they cut down on expenses?
Like all attendees said, that most companies take procedures to cut down on expenses, like stop hiring new people, and lay off some people who are not effective in the company. And maybe take a procedure like stop days for the current employees. And about bonus, they can cut down on bonus.
Definitely on bonuses. Yeah, I've run into that one. In one of the companies I worked at, they also cut down on non-essential travel. And then for 1 month, they actually did not pay all of the board of directors. None of them got their monthly salary. So that was kind of nice that it was not the little people, but it was the higher uppers that lost out on their money. So anyway, everyone, I do hope that you learned a few words and got able to practice a little bit. And let's see where you all are. Okay, either have a good afternoon or good evening or good day or good afternoon and evening, everyone. Yes, Christian. And thank you. Good night. I will be heading to bed sometime.
Good morning.
So, thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Good night. Bye.